Thinking about buying a roller filter unit but can't decide which model's for you? This video will definitely help.
So roller filters have been around for some time now, 10, maybe 15 years. Traditionally they were used on ponds and some larger aquariums, but manufacturers have taken hold of that now and they've started producing them for our smaller home aquariums, mainly based around the reef and marine systems.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, the logic behind a roller filter system is mechanical filtration, and to remove that headache and painful keep changing out of filter flosses or media in baskets or even really filter socks. And the logic is that most of them anyway have a plastic body that water will enter, and around that plastic body is a roll of fleece. Now obviously as the water is entering the body, it has to pass through that fleece to enter back into your system, really into your sump. Now as that clogs up, removing organics, obviously the water can escape at a slower rate. That means the water in the body of the unit starts to rise, and normally will trigger some kind of sensor, depending on which model you've got, to say, right, it's full up, turn the roller mat around, remove the dirty waste, which removes that from the water column, and replace it with some new fleece that will continue to filter that water out. Now, if you're watching this video, we assume that maybe you understand that principle and you're really looking for which unit is best for you.
So we're going to look at some really important features of each of these units. So we're going to look at the dimensions, the flow rates and recommended system sizes, the installation of them, the key features, the roll specs, and most importantly, the cost.
Yeah, so let's dig a little deeper into the units that we sell and take a look at the first model up, and that's this, the Clarisea filter unit from DND.
So here we have the Clarisea roller filter by DND. It comes in two different models, the SK3000 and the SK5000. As the name suggests, the 3000 has a maximum flow rate of 3000 litres and the 5000 a maximum flow rate of 5000 litres. The dimensions of the unit has quite a small footprint. It is 255mm on the top there, 205 on the SK3000 and 255 a little wider on the SK5000 and 455mm tall.
Yeah, like Steve said, it's relatively small footprint, and you'll see we've got maybe some smaller and some larger, but it's quite a compact size. And out of the box, in terms of building it, the body does come as a single piece. So you do need to attach some of the rolls and the float switch and the brackets here, but it's mostly built out of the unit. This is the G3, so the third generation of Clarisea that DND have produced. And they have now thought about some of the improvements that they've wanted to make over time, and the unit being built was one of them. I mentioned the float switch. It is a mechanical float switch in the middle that triggers the water level, and therefore the motor, which is on this side of the spooler, to turn when the fleece is full. Now that motor unit is attached to this inline controller. There's a couple of LED lights that indicate that the power is on, and there's an option to manually roll the motor around. But most importantly, this includes an alarm, so that if the motor hasn't spun for a period of time or there's a problem, it will make an audible alarm to you so that you know that there is a problem. They've also included this neat little tool now, which is designed for holding your fleece roll once it's dirty. So when you're in the process of changing the roll, you can place the roll on there and it makes it just nice and simple, keeps it out of the way. And the reason that you have to do that is when you're replacing a new roll, you will have to attach this roll onto the new one and then roll the filter unit around. So it's nice to be able to have somewhere to place that. In terms of inlet and outlet, you've got this pipe connector on the side here that can go on either the front or the back of the unit, depending on the orientation that you want in your sump. That's a 32mm fitting or a 1 inch, and then the external is a 40mm fitting. So you can have some flexibility there, and if you want to use a 40mm fitting, you'll obviously just need a slip adapter or a socket to go over the top. The unit itself can obviously be stood inside the sump, just as it is on the table here, or as I mentioned, it does come with these brackets to hang on to the side of your sump.
Yeah, and as we're talking about the unit as well, the rolls themselves, they can filter out anything down to a size of 50 micron. And they're quite long as well, so they have a 40-metre length, so they're going to last you quite a reasonable amount of time. And then the most important question, or the most important thing that you want to know, is the cost of these units. The SK3000, as we speak, is £285, and the larger SK5000 is £310.
Yeah, so as we go on through the other models, you'll get an idea of where that sits in terms of price points and features and specs. But let's take a look at our next model, and that's the offering from Bubble Magus. So here we have the automatic fleece roller from Bubble Magus, and this is the G2 model. So the Generation 1 model has now been discontinued and replaced with this, which has some upgraded features. Now, Bubble Magus don't actually specify a flow rate or a maximum flow rate for this unit, but they do note a maximum aquarium size, which is 500 litres. So if you're looking across brands, this is probably more akin to the smaller models that other manufacturers produce. So just bear that in mind when you're taking a look. Dimensions wise, you're looking at 16 centimeters or 160 mil side to side. You're looking at 350 mil front to back, and that includes the inlet pipe, and then 460 mil top to bottom, including the roll.
Some of the key features of this unit is a motor that just attaches onto the side of the unit itself. It has a feed button or a reset button on the side there as well, and that's fed to a mechanical float switch, which adjusts the water level or lets you know when the water level is too high, feeds the roll through. And again, same as some of the other units, you can either have it standalone in your sump. If you need more water level or you need to raise the unit, it can come with an additional stand that you can buy separately as well. And also the inlet is a 32mm standard tubing that can be moved orientation from the front or the back. So depending on where your drain is in your aquarium, you can have it on either side. As we're talking about that as well, the installation of this unit is a little bit different from the other ones, and that may be why the cost is a little bit lower than some of the others. It's basically a jigsaw piece when you get it.
It's flat pack. Yeah.
You open it up and you have to put pretty much the whole thing together. It's not a difficult job, but it takes a little bit longer than some of the others.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why, as Steve said, it comes in a little bit more on the budget end. Now, the rolls are pretty standard, about 25 meters, so lower than the Clarisea, but not really short compared to some of the others we're going to look at. And they don't really specify the micron, but again, you're going to get an average lasting time out of these, so probably going to change it depending on how dirty your water is. It's not a sure thing, but a couple of times a year, maybe every couple of months at worst. But the unit itself is only £150. So if you're looking to get a roller filter at an affordable price, then yes, you've got to build it, but the features that you get with this for £150, this should be the one that you're probably looking at.
So here we have the XFilters from Innovitech. They make two different models. They make the 1.0 and the 1.7. The 1.0 has a maximum flow rate of 7,000 litres. That's going to suit any aquarium up to 1,000 litres. And the 1.7 has a maximum flow rate of 10,000 litres, and that will go all the way up to an aquarium of 2,500 litres. So these are really aimed at the larger aquariums. The dimensions on these, even though those flow rates are quite high, so the dimensions are 37 by 30 by 18 for the smaller 1.0, and the 1.7 has a footprint of 43 by 30 by 25 centimetres.
Yeah, so actually, considering the size aquarium, therefore, the footprint actually isn't that big for how much water you can put through them or the size aquarium you're going to use. In terms of assembly of that footprint, it comes pretty much built out of the box. So this bottom section is one piece already glued together, and the same with the top. And all you need to do is install the motor unit on the front, which is this black box here. The motor's housed in there, and that connects directly onto one of the spoolers on the rear here to turn the filter roller. And that's also connected to the optical level sensor at the front. So not a mechanical float switch on this model, but an optical sensor. And also in here is the brains in terms of like the alarm and if there's a problem, or a green LED operating light to show you that it's working as it should be. Other features in terms of installation, the unit can be hung on the side of your sump, and it comes with two different options in terms of mounting arms. So longer ones if you've got a taller sump, or shorter ones if you need them a little bit lower. or obviously it can stand just directly in your sump like this. But on this unit, you'll notice there's no inlet pipe, so there's no connection point, and pipe work can literally sit in this reservoir on the back here. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility as to where you put it. You can even use flexi, or you can replumb your rigid to go into this unit. Now, that little reservoir also has some openings on the bottom that work like little gate valves, so you can basically balance that reservoir to ensure that all of the water is entering the body and not overflowing, to make sure that it gets filtered through the fleece.
And as it goes for fleeces for this unit, they do quite a range of different microns depending on what sort of size particles you want to filter out of your water. So they start from 9 micron to 17 micron, 25 and 32. So they really do a nice range of filter fleeces, and the good thing with these, they're all 65 meters long. Wow. So they're going to give you quite a bit of length of time before you need to change them. The cost on these units, as we said, they are for the larger aquarium, so the cost probably reflects that. The 1.0 at the moment is £365, and the larger 1.7 is £475.
Yeah, but as Steve mentioned, if you've got that larger aquarium, or you're short for space and you've got a relatively big aquarium, then that price might be worth it. So that's the X filter from Innovitech. Let's take a look at the next filter from Red Sea. So here we have Red Sea's filter roller offering, and this is the Red Sea ReefMat. The model we have here is the 500, but they do again do a different larger model, and that's the 1200. So the ReefMat 500, as the name suggests, suitable for up to 500 litre aquariums, and the 1200 for larger aquariums up to 1200 litres. Flow rate of the 500 is about 6,000 litres per hour, of the 1200 about 9,000 litres per hour. So you should be able to find one that fits most aquariums out there. Now, in terms of dimensions, they are a little bit bigger than some of the other units we've looked at. This 500 is about 21 centimetres by 27 by 42. The 1200 larger again, 27 by 30 by 48 centimetres.
And as far as it goes for installation, this unit's probably one of the easiest ones you can get. It's basically a plug and play system, so it has a fully moulded plastic body. When you get it out of the box, there's only a couple of parts that you need to actually put onto the unit, the motor and a couple of the other smaller parts. So Red Sea have really thought about that. As far as it goes to installing into your aquarium, again, with this, it can be orientated left or right, so you can change all of the parts around depending where you want it in your sump. But Red Sea also give you a piece of tubing or a piece of pipe work, so you can fit that on here, and instead of some of the others where you need to plumb this into where your drain is, this you can actually go to the drain, so it just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more versatile. Key features on the unit, it's got loads, but you know, the ease of use and the ease of changing of the filter fleece or roll is really easy. They've put a lot of detail into there to make it as easy as possible. Some of the other units you need to thread through with the fleece, but this one, it's a lot easier on that. Again, with the motor and the sensor, they've gone for a different type of sensor. This one's a conductivity sensor, so it's not mechanical. The motor has some LED notifications on there, but the main party piece of that is it's connected via their ReefBeat app, so it's all controllable and you'll get notifications on your app when you're using it. Again, there's a media basket on the bottom, which is another additional feature that not many of the other units have, which is great. And on the installation thing, one thing I didn't mention is you can hang it on the side of your sump, the same as some of the other ones, the other ReefMats, but also you can have some additional legs so you can put it into your sump as a standalone unit as well.
Yeah, so really the features here are designed towards those of you that really want a product that's connected to an app. The unit is a little bit larger than some of the other models, but if you've got an existing Red Sea aquarium, or you are kind of like techie aquarist and want that app connectivity, then this one might be the one for you. In terms of the rolls, the two different size units have different length rolls, so 28 meters for the 500, 35 for the 1200, so about average, maybe not against the Innovitech, but most of the others. And in terms of price, the 500 is £299 and the 1200 is £329. So again, sits roughly where some of the others do. It's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive. Now, That's the offering from Red Sea, and it's really the final one of the roller mats that we have that are automatic, that do the turning for you. There are some models out there that you turn manually, so I think we should take a look at those now. So we've had a look at the available automatic roller filters that are available, but we think there's a place in the market for something like this, the TMC Reef Roller, which is a completely manual unit. So if you're one of those people who want to move away from filter sock cleaning all the time, or even replacing filter floss, but maybe you've got a smaller budget or just a smaller aquarium or even just less space, then something like this might be for you. It's very simple. Pipe down the middle and an adjustable sump mounting arm. And basically when you see that fleece getting clogged up or the water's overflowing, whenever you're doing your normal maintenance, you just give this cog a turn and put some new roller on.
TMC make 3 different versions of this unit, a small, medium and large. The small unit is for aquariums up to 500 litres and the large unit goes up to 1,000 litres. And they're priced really nicely as well, $89.99 for the small unit, and the larger unit goes for around £117.
Yeah, as Steve has said, the dimensions you'll see are very small and the price is very low, so this is a really great entry into the roller mat market. Now, we hope this video has helped. We never set out to make this a review video, but really just to save you guys some time and research and just really give you a helping hand to decide which of the available units might be best for you.
As always, thanks for watching Charthouse TV. If you've got any questions, leave a comment down below and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep, don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you then.
See ya.